afternoon, guys. Today we're going to be talking about SPAN and the SPAN electrical panel. For those of you who've never heard of SPAN, SPAN is a company that they're trying to bring renewable energy into one dashboard into your home. So, for example, if you have solar or if you have battery backup or anything like that, then you'll be able to integrate that into the SPAN app and create one single pane for you to actually view all your renewable energy. Today we're going to be looking at the SPAN panel. I originally was going to install the Leviton Smart panel, but then after I contacted my electrician and talked to them, what he told me was that he had a new product and he wanted to see if I was interested in trying this new product. So what happened, he sent his team out to get certified on installing the product. And then I've already heard of SPAN. I heard of SPAN before, but I didn't say anything to him because I thought the SPAN panel was a little too expensive. The panel comes in at about $3,500. The beauty of the panel is that it's basically the same size of a 32 circuit breaker panel. So it's not very big. Generation 1 was a little bit bigger, but they've actually slimmed it down a little bit. So now Generation 2 is a little bit smaller. It still houses 32 breakers. The good thing about them is they're 32 controllable breakers. Now, any electrician can install the SPAN panel, but the one thing that I noticed is that you can buy the panel and you can have it installed. But in order to get the panel activated, then you need a certified electrician to get that panel activated, because you got to have, from what I understand, a portal password to connect the panel to SPAN servers. So that's something that you have to go through to get certified, all that good stuff, and then you can connect it to their portal. The installation was pretty easy. You know, I think anybody who's not afraid of electricity can do it. Basically, if you can walk around your house and label all your circuits and then come back and cut the power from your house and then take that panel out and put another panel in, that's about the extent of it. It's not very difficult to actually do. So I got my panel was installed by Boss Energy out of Charleston, South Carolina. Outstanding group of guys. Ori and his team is actually pretty good. They installed my Tesla batteries. I'm sorry, I have 2 batteries. So they installed my Tesla batteries. So when I needed something done as far as smart electrical stuff, I usually call Ori. And then I usually say, hey man, have you ever heard of this? And he usually said, yeah man, I heard that. You know, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a project. You know, what do you think about that? And then he'll give me his input on it, and then usually it leads to a project. So, you know, if you ever get a chance, Ori and Boss Electric, I think it's called Boss Electric, out of Charleston, South Carolina. So I live in Columbia, so they drive all the way from Charleston over to Columbia to install things for me. So outstanding group of guys. But they a little background on what actually happened with the panel. So once he told me that he could possibly get the panel, what I did, I went ahead and did some research on it and decided that I was going to go ahead and get it. Once I went ahead and put my deposit down on the panel, then what I did, I went ahead and he called me back about 2 or 3 days later and said, listen, Dwayne, here's what I got. I got a opening on this date or this date. Do you want it? I said, yeah, I want it. So at that time, what he did, he went ahead and he scheduled me for my appointment. His guys showed up, took the old panel. First they showed up, they walked around my house, they labeled all the circuits, and once they labeled all the circuits, they came back, they took the panel out, put the new panel in, commissioned the panel, and got me up and running. One thing I will say about the SPAN panel is, if you have a Tesla battery, the Tesla battery runs off of Wi-Fi. There's an Ethernet port, from what I understand, that's on the gateway. That Ethernet port connects to two Wi-Fi antennas that sits on top of the actual gateway. So in order for the span panel to connect to that gateway, you need to run a wire, an Ethernet cable from that gateway back to your span panel. So if you can do that before the electrician get there, great. If not, then they're gonna have to run that cable between the two panels so the two panels can actually communicate with each other. So one other thing about the panel is I've noticed that it sends a lot of data back to span. So point in case, I have cameras around my house, and my cameras does not transmit as much data as the span panel. In about a week, it sends about a gig back to home base. So they're collecting a lot of data on you. So something to think about when you decide that you want to install the panel. They do use encryption, so your connection with them is encrypted. I haven't had any problems with the actual panel, anybody getting in or any kind of malware or anything like that with the panel. It runs off of the A-word. It is connected with that. You can use Bluetooth with it, cellular service, and regular old Ethernet. So you can connect to it on a number of different ways. Again, it does have 32 circuits. It's a beautiful panel. So it is a little pricey, and I went ahead and went with the panel because I had Sense prior to installing this particular panel. One thing about Sense is a passive device. So because Sense is a passive device, what it does, it gives you an idea how much electricity your house is actually using. So it's constantly giving you that idea. Okay, you're using 1.5 kilowatts, whereas Span is granular. You can actually see what circuit in your house is pulling the most electricity, and it will give you feedback on, okay, this circuit is using the most electricity, this circuit is not using the most electricity. So I have not gotten it hooked up to my solar yet and to my batteries. We're waiting for the battery. I'm getting a third battery, so we're waiting for a battery to come in, and then once the third battery come in, I'll have all the wires ran for him, and then when he come back down from Charleston, then Oric and his team can go ahead and install that last battery and hook me up to the actual Tesla battery service. Excuse me. But so far, it's been working fine. Don't have any problems with it. And it's awesome because you can turn off a circuit. I had to replace two switches, two GE switches when they were testing the circuits. Two of my GE switches conked out, so I had to replace two of them. So I called in and they sent me two brand new switches out. So that wasn't too bad. To be expected when you start cutting power and adding power to electrical circuits. Sometimes you get a surge, and then what happens is you end up frying that particular device. So I end up replacing that. It's just something for you to keep in mind when you cutting and adding power to the smart switches. It may do it. Like I said, I only had two that went out. I have approximately probably 30 or 40 of them here in this house. So two is not bad. Other than that, the panel went in and they had it up and running. It took them about 8-9 hours to get it up and running. Wasn't nothing hard. We all worked together. So I was actually in my house sleeping when they were downstairs, and you wouldn't even know they were down there. I think I heard cutting 5 minutes. So it was 5 minutes of actually cutting into the wall, and after that, it was done. I gave him a Wi-Fi password. He put his installer's password in. We connected to the server. Everything was commissioned over. Everything was seamless. They sent me an actual email. I went in, and it was on my phone like that. I mean, it didn't take no time at all. So it's something to think about, guys, if you decide that you want to go with the span panel. I love it. It's 10 times better than what I had with the Sense, because I could never get an idea on what was pulling current in my house. Once I got the span panel, I know exactly what pulls current in my house, what circuit actually pulls current. I was actually downstairs today, and I was making some coffee, and once I turned my Curate on, I knew exactly what circuit in the house was pulling that particular load. So that's a good thing about it. So, but if you have any questions, guys, about the span panel, just drop me a comment down in the comment section, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I know there's not a lot of information out there because the span panel is fairly new, but I got it, love it. No major issues with it. If I had to say any negativity about the span panel, I thought that the actual case of it, where the breakers are actually sitting, I thought that area was a little, wasn't up to par for the amount of money that you're actually spending with it. So it's actually a thin piece of sheet metal, and it just fits in there, and they got it cut. So it fits in there pretty snug, but I think they could have did a better job with that. It does have lights around the side. That's pretty sleek. So when you open the panel door, the lights on the side actually open up, and it has two 40mm fans inside the panel itself that keeps the circuit cool. So it does come with a 10-year warranty. So that's a good thing if you ever have any problems with it. It has a 10-year warranty on it, and it gets over-the-air updates, and they are free. So, you know, outstanding device. Don't have any issues with it right now. I had it approximately, I think I had the panel now about 3 weeks. So it's actually doing pretty good. So again, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment. And if I have any updates to the actual panel itself, then I will post an update. All right, guys. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.